Americans, my name is David Grothus. Today's date is July 16th of 2023. I wrote something I'd like to share with you tonight. The title of my speech is Incontrovertible Evidence of Events on January 6, 2021 in Washington, D.C. Number one, the Capitol Police Chief stated he saw individuals, not actual Trump supporters, who put on Trump supporter outfits, impersonating Trump supporters, who then caused problems amongst the crowd. His testimony is on YouTube, and if you check it out, you can listen to his testimony. 4,000 hours of video evidence was not looked upon before any of the trials of the January 6ers. Why not? Ray Epps, one of the many individuals on video telling Trump supporters at the Capitol to break down plastic blockades and then to enter the Capitol for several hours before people entered and breached the Capitol. Ray Epps talks to Nancy Pelosi 15 to 20 times before January 6th. And that's on the phone record with Nancy Pelosi. Okay, here's another thing. The doors open on the inside of the Capitol with the police opening the doors. So you have Nancy Pelosi talking to Ray Epps, who's either an FBI informant or paid by Nancy Pelosi to go out there and cause problems. And they tell individuals, 3,000 to 4,000 people, to go into the Capitol. And guess what? People listened and they went into the Capitol. Now the FBI is chasing down people who went into the Capitol. Go figure. Why was Ray Epps not indicted and his video used as evidence, as exculpatory evidence in the trials of the January 6ers? He was an instigator and facilitator of many who then trespassed into the Capitol. Ray Epps talked directly to one person who then immediately broke through a plastic barricade. That is called instigating. Ray Epps is an accessory before the fact of both the barrier to being broken through and the Capitol to be breached. The Capitol Police unlocked the doors to the Capitol and opened the doors from the inside. This can be verified by YouTube videos showing them doing this. How can people be indicted for trespassing when the Capitol Police themselves unlocked the doors to the Capitol? 99% of the people entered the Capitol maintained an orderly walk to view the inside of the Capitol, doing no harm while inside the public building. The FBI director, Mr. Wray, would not admit before the Judiciary Committee how many paid informants were at the Capitol on January 6th. He neither denied nor admitted of this important fact. Yet Ray Epps' bank deposits, look up Ray Epps' bank deposits before and after January 6th would prove this, that Ray Epps is 99% an FBI informant or paid by Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi phone records prove she was in direct communications with Ray Epps for many calls before and during January 6th. She was never subpoenaed to be cross-examined at any time during any of the trials of the January 6ers. And my question is to you, why not? Antifa people showed up and passed out long pipes and weapons at the Capitol. And I saw this YouTube videos prove this to be true. Why were they not indicted and arrested? That's an honest question to every single American. Jeremy Brown was arrested by the FBI at his house. The FBI said he trespassed into the Capitol, which he completely denied. Yet 4,000 hours of video evidence would exonerate Jeremy Brown. The FBI planted illegal explosives in his vehicle on his property. He denied owning and knowing anything about said explosives. I believe Jeremy Brown was telling the truth. Have each FBI agent take a lie detector test as well as Jeremy Brown and look at the results. Jeremy Brown should not be in jail today. Stuart Rhodes had a legal right and a constitutional right to carry a gun anywhere in the United States based upon the Second Amendment in the Constitution. How can he be put in jail for having a legal gun in the United States? Stuart Rhodes never entered the Capitol. There is proof Antifa people showed up in several buses and were unloaded and dispersed into the crowd. YouTube videos will prove this to be true. Antifa people have had a history of committing battery upon both citizens and the police, plus destroying private and public property with a few indictments from the FBI. That means a few indictments. How the hell aren't every single member indicted for being involved in all the crimes that took place? They committed arson, they killed 25 Americans, they injured 900 police officers, 2 police officers were blinded, and yet still Antifa is still around the community. How stupid is our FBI not to have every single member arrested? That's puzzling to me. And each FBI agent gets $80,000 to $150,000 per year to do a job, and what do? They eat donuts, they drink coffee, and they watch Monday Night Football or baseball games. But they're not doing their job. So when Stuart Rhodes had a gun, he had a duty to be prepared for anything. And guess what? The Antifa people were there, and they have injured 900 police officers, and they've killed 25 Americans. So he had a right to carry a gun. And they put him in jail for 18 years. Go figure. Does anyone talk to the judge that talked to Mr. Stuart Rhodes? About all the Antifa members that have committed battery, committed murder on police officers and American citizens? And Stuart Rhodes is guilty of having a gun? Are you kidding me? Stuart Rhodes is an American hero. He stood up to lawlessness, he stood up to oath violation, and now they put him in jail for 18 years. That's despicable. Stuart Rhodes had a God-given right and duty to carry a gun at the Capitol on January 6th of 2021 to protect himself from imminent danger and potential real threats from Antifa people who have had a history of attacking innocent Americans on multiple occasions and were present at the Capitol on January 6th of 2021. Vice President Mike Pence failed to do his due diligence before he certified electors from many states which had election conflicts which needed to be resolved before actual certification could be done. Here's my honest question. Do you remember all the unsecured election drop boxes where mules dropped fraudulent ballots into these drop boxes, and those ballots were not invalidated by election supervisors? Can you imagine that? The movie 2000 Mules proved this point. And you ought to talk to the judge who talked to Mr. Stuart Rhodes and sent him to prison for 18 years. There was actual verified fraudulent ballots cast by mules in more than 2 to 3 states, and those fraudulent ballots were never invalidated by election supervisors. Go figure. Vote counting dates were changed and extended by the governors and state attorneys without a vote by the state assembly members, which is a direct violation of their state's constitutions. These votes counted after the legal date should have been invalidated but were not. The election supervisors were derelict in honoring their duty to uphold state law regarding legal deadline to count the votes. Illegal aliens cast votes in 15 illegal sanctuary states. Each of these votes were not invalidated by the election supervisors in California, Colorado, New York, plus 12 more states. Go figure. And there was an election fraud. That's fraudulent right there. To make illegal aliens' votes count as being valid, which they cannot do. Illegal and fraudulent votes were cast by mules who were paid in several states to cast hundreds of fraudulent votes in unsecured election drop boxes. Did the judge that talked to Stuart Rhodes mention this to everybody, that there were fraudulent votes cast into these unsecured election drop boxes and they were not invalidated by election supervisors? Go figure. The movie 2,000 Mules proved this crime actually occurred. And Stuart Rhodes is in jail for 18 years. How many mules and election workers were paid by George Soros and Mark Zuckerberg like $10 million plus to violate election laws with no consequences? Go figure. A quick check of the bank accounts of many of the mules and election workers by the FBI or one diligent detective could easily identify who compensated these mules and election workers. And do you know what could happen? If these people were paid by Democrats, guess what? Every Democrat vote after that point would be nullified. The whole election would go to Trump.